The rain fell in thick sheets as Daniel Carter's car sputtered to a stop at the edge of Blackwood Hollow. The town wasn't on any map, just a cluster of weathered buildings swallowed by dense forest. His GPS had lost signal miles back, and now, with his engine dead, he had no choice but to seek help. The streets were empty. No cars, no pedestrians, just the flickering glow of lamplights behind curtained windows. The air smelled of damp earth and something else, something metallic. Daniel pulled his jacket tighter and approached the only open establishment, dimly lit diner with a flickering neon sign that read, "Eat." The bell jingled as he stepped inside. Every head turned, pale faces, hollow eyes. The chatter died. Daniel forced a smile. Hi there. I'm sorry to bother you. I just need to use the phone. My car broke down and I need to call a tow truck. The patrons exchanged glances. The waitress, however, whose name tag read Millie, kept her grin plastered on. She sauntered over. "Well, you sure do look tired, hon. Why don't you sit down a spell? The sheriff will be right with ya. Got a phone you can use?" Daniel hesitated, eyeing the strange customers. They seemed like wax figures, lifeless, their gazes vacant. Was this town a ghost town? Or were those people ghouls who fed on living flesh? Either way, his situation was dire. His phone was dead. The nearest town was miles away, and night was falling fast. So he sat down, forcing a smile as the whispers slithered around him. He doesn't know. They never do. How long before the hunger takes him? One woman wearing a tattered wedding dress and a veil sighed. Let him rest a spell. It'll be a while yet. Her companion, a gaunt man with hollow cheeks, nodded. That's not to linger, Mary Beth. We haven't much time. Mary Beth. The waitress leaned in close, her eyes gleaming. You're all right, hon? You real pale? Look like you could use some supper. Daniel recoiled, gagging at the stench of decay that reeked from the woman. How had he not noticed before? Her skin was stretched taut over her bones, her fingers long and skeletal. Now he noticed the other patrons too. Each was unsettling to look at, a tapestry of decay woven into their flesh, yet their gazes were unnerving, predatory, as though they viewed him as the main course. Fear tightened his throat. Should he run? But where? Their eyes were on him. He was trapped. With a start, he noticed a newspaper on the counter. Its headlines seared into his mind. Missing travelers. 5th disappearance this month. Below it, grainy photos of 4 young adults. 2 couples, 2 men, all smiling brightly, full of life. Then in smaller print, the dates: March, April, May. Each month, 1 disappearance. This month, 2. Daniel shuddered. He hadn't seen anyone on the road or in the windows. Had they been here all along, watching, waiting? He risked a glance at the waitress. She hadn't moved. She hadn't blinked. Her smile, a grotesque mask of red lips and bared teeth, was fixed in place. Daniel felt his blood turn to ice. How had he not seen it? How had he missed the warning signs? The empty roads, the missing persons, the stench of death. He should have kept driving. He would have been safer in the car. As the minutes ticked by, the whispers grew louder, slithering around him like venomous serpents. He could make out snippets of their conversation, lumbering. He won't last long. I say we make it quick for him. The longer we wait, the more restless he becomes. So restless. Daniel's gaze fell to his hands, his knuckles white as he gripped the edge of the table. He wanted to scream, to break the silence, to shatter the oppressive atmosphere, but terror froze his voice. Then a match flickered to life nearby, followed by the soft puff of smoke. Daniel flinched as a hand holding a cigarette appeared above the table. Startled, he looked up into the soulless eyes of the woman in the wedding dress. Fingers, long and bony, curled around the worn matchstick. Her gaze bored into him. "Don't be afraid," she rasped, her voice like nails on a chalkboard. We just want to help. Her smile, if you could call it that, was a ghastly sight, revealing teeth that were too sharp, too long, too animalistic. He wanted to bolt, but his limbs felt leaden, his muscles frozen with terror. "Help," she echoed, her tone dripping with mock sympathy. "Yes, you need help, and we can give it to you if you'll just do as we ask." Her companion, the gaunt man, leaned in, his breath fetid. "It's simple, really. Just stay here, rest, relax. We'll take care of everything." Daniel shook his head, backing away from them. "I just want to leave. I don't want your help." He scrambled to his feet, knocking over his chair. The patrons watched, their gazes unwavering, their smiles widening. In unison, Daniel stumbled toward the door, but a hand, icy cold, clamped over his shoulder, yanking him back. He screamed, thrashing as skeletal fingers dug into his flesh. The world spun as he was dragged back to the table. Laughter, harsh and grating, filled the diner. The woman in the wedding dress clapped her hands. "Oh, what fun. It's like a cat with a mouse," her companion chuckled, his breath smelling of decay. "Indeed, and a rather plump mouse, if I do say so myself." Daniel struggled against the bony fingers that held him fast, but their grip was like iron. His vision blurred, his strength ebbed, a sob escaped his lips. This was the end. He would die here, trapped in this nightmare, consumed by these creatures of the night. Then, as if sensing his surrender, the fingers slackened their hold. The creatures shifted, their forms rippling like water disturbed by a stone. Before Daniel's dazed eyes, the woman in the wedding dress rose, her form twisting and elongating. Her skeletal fingers sprouted feathers, her face contorting into a grotesque parody of a bird's beak. "Huh!" With a final screech, she launched herself at Daniel, talons outstretched. Panic surged through him, lending him strength. It's kicked out, catching the creature across the face. She shrieked, staggering back. Her companion, the gaunt man, was transforming too, his skin stretching, his bones cracking. He scuttled forward, his mouth agape, revealing rows upon rows of needle-like teeth. A low growl rumbled in his chest. Together, they advanced, their forms shifting, morphing into something half-human, half-bird. Their eyes gleaming with feral hunger. Daniel backed away, tripping over his own feet. The transformation was sickening to behold, yet oddly mesmerizing. It was as if he were witnessing the birth of some unholy hybrid, the fusion of man and beast. Their beaks opened in unison, revealing throats that were too wide, too gaping, lined with tongues that flicked in and out like whips. Their claws scraped against the floor, leaving deep gouges in the wood. The creatures lunged, and Daniel fled, stumbling out of the diner into the rain-lashed night. The town twisted around him, a labyrinth of darkness. The diner was gone, replaced by a rotting Victorian mansion. He ran, the creatures close behind, their laughter echoing through the trees, their voices raspy, their words unintelligible. Then the ground gave way beneath his feet. He fell, tumbling down a muddy slope into a chasm of tangled roots and slick mud. Gasping for breath, he looked back. The creatures had stopped at the edge, their forms flickering like dying embers. The largest, a grotesque amalgamation of man and crow, hopped forward, its beady eyes boring into him. "Why do you run, Daniel?" it croaked, its voice a grating screech. Stay and play with us." Daniel scrambled back, pressing himself against the damp earth. "Leave me alone," he choked out, his voice hoarse with terror. "I don't want to play." The creature tilted its head, its expression unreadable in the dim light. Then it did something unexpected. It spread its wings, vast and leathery, and let out a piercing screech. In an instant, the others were upon him, their forms blurring, their claws raking, their beaks pecking. The pain was excruciating, tearing through his body, ripping him apart. Strangled cry escaped his lips as darkness closed in around him. By dawn, the rain had washed away all tire tracks. The diner's neon buzzed back to life, and inside, a new face sat at the counter, sipping coffee, unaware. The bell jingled again. The waitress smiled. "You lost, stranger?" And now we reach the end of our audio drama. Until next time, farewell.